All right, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we have an all ladies edition. We're here with Shahina Khan and Megan Vasquez, who you've seen before. We are going to watch what we believe is a DUI video, which we're pretty pumped about because that's the area that we practice. At the end, we're going to give all the players grades. We're going to tell you guys what we think they did right and what they did wrong, and we hope you give us your opinions in the comments. All right, ladies, let's get started.
No, I'm a judge.
True.
You are?
Yeah. But I don't want to use that. I don't want to use it. I don't.
An Arizona judge is charged with a DUI after her blood alcohol content tests nearly 3 times the legal limit. The entire incident caught on body camera video.
I
just
don't.
told them I'm a judge here. So
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize. I've never met you.
it's good that you never. No, I f***ed it up.
Back in March, Prescott, Arizona police received multiple calls for a person acting erratically at a Safeway grocery store. Body camera video shows Prescott police officials catching up with Yavapai County Superior Court Judge Soleil Hancock.
What's going on today, ma'am? Okay. Well, we got some reports that you were inside of Safeway
Yes.
and you're walking around stumbling, and you got back in your vehicle, and now you're here. Okay, do me a favor and turn off your car so I can hear you. Perfect. So my next question to you, ma'am, is have you been drinking today? You haven't been drinking today. Okay. Are you having a medical condition today or a medical issue?
I'm just trying to get my prescription for something.
Okay. So would there be a reason that somebody would call and say that maybe you were stumbling around in Safeway? Okay.
I'm just trying to get my prescription.
Okay. So why'd you leave your wallet at the store?
Trying to get my prescription.
Okay.
Hancock tells officers she was at the Safeway pharmacy to pick up her prescription where she accidentally forgot her wallet.
Because if you're getting prescriptions, it makes me ask, are there medications you're on that maybe you haven't taken today?
I don't think there's medication I've taken today. I'm on,
Okay.
like,
Oh, okay. And I'm asking, is there any medical concerns that we'd have for you? Like I
I have
asked
a
you.
seizure disorder.
What is it?
I have a seizure
Oh,
disorder.
okay. Well, that's good to know because then that makes us wonder if they were seeing something, maybe at the store, maybe there was an incident that may have happened that you weren't aware of with seizures. I just have to ask. And that's the medical side. I can ask that. As an EMT, I can ask, was there any medical concerns that maybe you were feeling today?
Seizure disorder.
Okay.
At this point, she hasn't said that she's a judge. We kind of heard it in the
Right,
preview,
yeah.
but yeah, you wonder if he knows right now if she's a judge. But that is interesting, right? She's at the Safeway. She's saying she's trying to get her prescriptions. Seems like she didn't get
She
them,
didn't, yeah.
right?
Left her wallet.
But yeah, it's like not taking a medication that you need and then possibly driving with a
Yeah, there's
seizure
a lot
disorder.
going on here.
Right.
You, by chance, were you having anything at the store when you were at the store? Because I've seen that where people might be walking and all of a sudden it hits them and you don't realize it.
Also, if she's a judge and she has been drinking and he's giving her this out, like, take it. Like,
I
yes,
know,
I
yeah.
am having a medical issue. It's not because
Call the
I
EMT. I need help.
It's not because I drank a bottle of wine earlier.
I don't think so, but I do have a seizure disorder.
Okay. And you're not feeling like you're having an incident right now between here and the store?
I don't think so,
Okay.
but it could
Okay.
be possible.
Okay, I'm asking just
I know.
to help you out.
I understand
That's
that,
all.
sir.
Just work with us, and I want to be as cooperative and helpful as I can with
I
you.
have a seizure disorder.
Perfect.
It's then that Hancock admits she's been drinking.
Have you had any alcohol? Have you consumed any alcohol today?
Earlier today I did, yes.
Earlier today?
Earlier.
Like when you mean earlier? How earlier?
A couple hours ago.
A couple of hours ago? How much did you drink?
A couple of glasses of wine.
Okay. And were you at home when you did this, or were you out? You were at home. Okay.
Officers then asked the judge to perform field sobriety tests.
If you have bad knees and you're convinced that your knees are going to keep you from performing the test,
I don't know. Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, attitude.
Officer.
how about are you able to stand on one leg?
I don't know. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Stand on one leg.
I don't know. Let's try it.
Go ahead. Okay. So.
Can you hold my phone, please?
Sure I can. So if you're going to have her do that, if you're not going to have her do the walk and turn test because of her bad knees, then you need to know that because of her bad knees, you chose not to have her do this portion of it.
I think that probably this has been like edited, and that they read her the instructions, hopefully pursuant to NHTSA. And one of those is to ask somebody if they have injuries. But yeah, if they ask you if you have any like back or leg injuries that would prevent you from doing this test, and she says, yes, I have knee injuries. Have you ever seen a police officer say, okay, we won't do it?
No.
What do they
Try your
usually say?
best.
I'll take
Yeah.
that into consideration.
Yeah.
Try your best, right? And also, if you're not going to have them do the walk and turn because of a bad knee, wouldn't that be the exact same thing for the one leg stand?
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
You need more.
you
Have
can't
they
walk.
determined which is the knee?
Right. You can't walk 18 steps, but you can balance on one leg with a bad knee.
But she's going to go ahead and try to do the one leg stand.
Okay.
Okay? And what the one leg stand is, you need to explain to her on what you're wanting her to do, so she understands what's going on. Okay? I'm going to put this in your car. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. I'm going to put it on the driver's seat.
While keeping both legs straight, point the toe of your raised foot down, look at the raised foot, and keep your arms to your side. It's going to look like this. Okay, you're going to pick one foot, hands down to your side, and you're going to look down at your toes the whole time
For how long?
until I tell you to. Okay? I'm not done yet. That's all right. While in this position, count out loud in the following manner: 1001, 1002, 1003, and so forth until I tell you to stop. It's going to look like this. While you're looking down at your toes, you do this: 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, until I tell you to stop. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
One second, I'll tell you.
Yeah, did you ask her, do you have bad ankles?
I have bad feet, bad ankles, I have everything.
Okay, how about those shoes? Are they pretty comfortable shoes? I'm just asking.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And out of both of your legs, which leg is the most
They're
like?
both bad.
There you
Okay,
go.
which one
Both
is not
bad.
not as bad?
They're both bad.
Okay, so it's your choice which leg you're gonna raise. Okay?
Okay.
It's either the
They're
left or
both
the
bad.
right. Okay.
They're both bad.
Okay.
Okay. And begin. Look down at your toe.
He's interrupting her.
Yeah, it's a divided attention test, right? You're like doing something physical while you're also counting out loud. And so if they interrupt you further, that causes your attention to be even further divided. And many times when they do that, we see them stumble in the
Right.
one leg stand. But this police officer definitely seems like a training officer to me.
Yeah.
The one talking is his FTO.
FTO, right?
Yeah.
Field training officer. And then the guy who we just saw like half perform the instructions for the field seems to be in training. Yeah, because the FTO keeps being like, did you say this? Did you ask this?
Right.
So Megan and Shahina, if you were watching this video and you represented this judge, how would you be feeling about the fact that this officer is in training and then like the strength of your case and taking it to trial?
I mean, so far I would suggest taking it to trial because she does complain about a bad, I think both of her legs were bad, and they never take that into consideration. They never ask her what the issue is or what the medical diagnoses are. So I think she does have a good case so far.
I think as far as this officer goes, if I'm seeing a newer officer, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he hasn't testified that many times in court. The more they testify in court, the better they get at testifying and bringing out the evidence that the state wants against your client. So, you know, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe he's newer at this and maybe he might not be able to testify as well. If it's a good triable case, I'm thinking, okay, well, on cross-examination, I can definitely get
Yeah.
this guy.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Not only has he probably not testified a lot, but he probably hasn't performed the fields a lot or like gave the
Right.
instructions for the fields.
But I had a judge who previously said there are two officers present. Someone was supervising him. So their testimony is going to be held at a higher standard just because there is a second officer who's training him to make sure that he's not doing anything wrong. So it can backfire too. Like, it's great to see someone who's not that experienced, but then like you have someone who's well experienced training another officer, that their testimony might be held to a higher standard.
I totally agree with you, Sheena, and that was a really good point. She hasn't said why her knees are bad. Is it surgery? Is it arthritis? Is it just, you know, maybe old age? She said her ankles
knee
are bad too.
replacement, yeah.
A knee replacement.
Right.
And if she did have something like that, how soon was it? You know, all of these
Right.
factors should be taken into consideration. And this whole video started saying she has a seizure disorder and she wasn't 100% sure that she wasn't currently having an episode.
Right, yeah.
So that I would imagine, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I'm not a doctor of medicine. I'm a doctor of the law, but no, I mean, you would think that would affect her balance, maybe
Yeah.
like her sight, maybe like a vertigo situation. So yeah, I feel like all of these fields are not being given a lot of weight by me right now.
Right.
When's the time you started?
It already started.
Oh, sorry.
Hancock then takes a breathalyzer test where she blows a .219.
So have you ever done one of these before, ma'am? No. Okay. So go ahead and explain to her how she's supposed to do it.
Hoping she's not a criminal law judge.
I know.
Yeah,
At that point.
the entire time I've been thinking, I'm like, what kind of cases does she preside over? Because this should
Right.
be
Basic.
bells should be
Yeah,
ringing off
right.
in her mind right now.
Exactly.
Was she placed under arrest when he got behind her?
It seemed like it, but now
Yeah.
they're doing the PBT.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking too with this one leg stand, she's very unsteady on her feet and she's right behind a curb. Like,
I
what if
know.
she falls and
She sees her,
Yeah,
so
hits
yeah.
her
Yeah,
head.
I think he got her right behind her really quickly and just put her under arrest because once they think that you are at a danger to yourself, then they're just like, okay, we're done here.
Right.
Okay, you get a steady flow for as long as I tell you to. It'll stop, okay? It's gonna be steady all the way through. You
Is she
understand?
crying?
Have you ever blown up a balloon? What, an air balloon? So just do a steady breath of air just like that, like you're blowing up a balloon. Okay?
I really can't go to jail.
No, we're not saying you're going to jail, man.
Can she take me home?
No, I don't know yet. This is up to the officer.
At this point, an officer tells Hancock he believes she's over the legal limit.
So here's the deal, ma'am. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Okay. So I think your signs and symptoms are above the legal limit.
Okay.
Okay, and that's just based off of my experience.
That's fair enough.
After this, Hancock tells multiple officers that she's a judge in the area.
Like,
Legal
do
limit.
you know I'm a judge here?
You are?
Should have led.
I don't like when people use their like professional identity to get out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you would hope she's smarter than that.
Derek and I have done a couple of videos. One was like a chief of police, I think in Oklahoma, and the
Chief of police?
Yeah, the officer did not give him like any breaks or deals whatsoever. And then we saw another one that was like a politician. I don't even remember the state that it was in. And he had like fallen asleep in the driver's seat with a crack pipe in his hand. And he only got charged with possession of a controlled substance. Like he could have gotten a DUI.
Yeah.
He had drug paraphernalia in the car, and they were like trying to cut him brakes left and right.
Right.
But I think with the body worn cameras, there is a lot less of officers giving
That's true.
people
Legal
breaks in
ways.
this type of
Yeah.
situation.
Okay. For Yapa County?
Yeah. I don't want to use that. I don't want to use it. I don't.
Okay.
I really don't. I really don't.
And I'm so, you know what? And my biggest
Don't. I haven't
problem-
said that yet
Hold on.
today.
Hold on.
I don't.
them I'm a judge here. So
Oh, okay. Well, I apologize. I've never met you.
it's good that you never.
Haven't-
No, I'm talking. I that.
Multiple times, Hancock repeats she's, quote, just a normal person.
You've been very
Don't.
sweet, and we appreciate
Don't.
that.
Don't. Because I put it up.
I wonder what her PBT.
I know this video is edited. I would also want to see if this police department has squad because I want to see the driving for myself. I know that a lot of people will call somebody in if they have a concern for their safety or the safety of others. But again, she mentioned seizures. She could have been acting erratically, due to that.
Not getting medications.
But
yeah. But I think she wasn't driving, right? She exited the
yeah, I think
store
she
and,
was kind of
had-
like walking around in the
around,
parking
yeah.
lot, and the guy saw her probably trying to get into a car
Right.
and acting a little strange.
So-
But again,
yeah, no
not in the
complaints of
car
like driving.
yet.
Yeah.
No complaints of the driving from what we've heard in the
Right.
phone
Yeah.
call. But I would definitely want to see the squad as they like creep up on her like this. But yeah, from the way that car is parked, I'm pretty sure the previous
Yeah.
driving wasn't any better.
Right. So if she didn't blow, then basically the state would have to prove that she was so intoxicated that that rendered her incapable of safely driving, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
I would say that 100% the officers had probable cause to stop her, even just in a community caretaking function, right?
Right,
Because like citizens were calling in saying she's stumbling, they don't know why. But I would want to see the driving too, to argue to the judge, like she was driving perfectly straight, she wasn't speeding, she wasn't committing improper lane usage. Or the opposite, like if you see the driving and she's all over the road, maybe you're like,
yeah.
I don't think we should take this case to trial, right? I also didn't like to, after the PBT, when the officer's like talking to her and saying, I think you're over the legal limit. And she's like, that's fair. I messed up.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
those are all admissions that can be used against her at trial.
Right.
So she didn't do herself any favors there either.
Yeah, and she said that she had a few glasses of wine a few hours ago, and at this time it's
48.
yeah, so it's not even after 5 p.m., meaning that at best, if she started drinking at noon, she's been drinking for 4 hours prior to getting these supposed prescriptions.
Yeah. So what's that kind of triggering in your mind?
She's probably
help.
well above the legal limit at this time.
It also makes you wonder if she has a drinking problem,
Yeah, she
right?
needs help.
It's
Yeah.
the middle of the day. She said she was at home drinking wine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a time I would be drinking wine.
Yeah. I usually wait till the sun goes down, especially if I'm at home alone.
And it shouldn't mean anything. You know, just a person like everybody else. I'm just a normal person like everybody else. I'm just a normal person, like.
Oh, I understand.
It shouldn't matter.
That's okay. We're just gonna have you sit in my patrol car for now, okay? Get you out of the weather.
Yeah, just so you're not getting water on you. The
Don't
rain.
take me like
I thought that was very odd that he was just like, oh yeah, just come in the back of my squad car and get you out of the weather. Like, A, the weather doesn't seem that bad, and B, I'm assuming this is in chronological order and they've already taken the PBT and know her blood alcohol content. Like,
Time for her arrest.
Yeah,
her
it
in
seems kind of odd
handcuffs.
that she's not in handcuffs already.
Right.
I think this guy is very sympathetic towards her situation, and he's new. So
yeah, I think that that's a problem though for the police, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
for their own safety. B, like we were talking about earlier, would you like not treat anybody else like this? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like everybody else, you'd put them in handcuffs and
Right,
tell
yeah.
them that they're under arrest for DUI.
she just told you she's a normal person.
It's not a judgment.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's thinking of judges as like celebrities.
Last month, Hancock pleaded guilty to the lowest level DUI charge. She was sentenced to just 1 day behind bars and now owes a $1,600 fine. According to her attorney, she's now undergoing a rehab program. Reporting for Law and Crime Network, I'm Sierra Gillespie.
What would be the typical sentence for somebody here in the state of Illinois if it was their first DUI, considering if she did blow and it was above a 0.16?
12 months court supervision.
Yeah, and then do an alcohol drug
Mandatory.
evaluation,
Mandatory court cost and fines.
Victim impact panel.
counseling.
If her blow was double the legal limit, then community service hours. So the fact that she only got 1 day of jail and fines is pretty good.
Yeah, I know. I wondered if they left something out. I also wondered too if the 1 day in jail was actually time considered served from her just being like booked. You know, do you think she actually did a day in jail?
I think if she only got court fines, I
Yeah.
would have thought that she would have sat.
Is it
Yeah.
24 hours or just like 9 to 5?
Yeah, usually a day is like overnight.
I would love to know the status of her career right now.
I know.
Yeah, there's been some judges like in, I'm sure every county, right? But specifically in Cook County that I know that have gotten DUIs as when I've been an attorney, and they basically go to judge's jail. That's what we call it, judge's jail. They have to like go to the Daily Center and they do like weddings for a long time, and then they have to like do all their counseling and kind of show like a period where they've like rehabilitated themselves and stuff, and then I think slowly they're like introduced back into presiding
regular
over the
criminal
calls that
cases.
they were presiding over.
It's not even a bad of a punishment.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm-
weddings.
I know.
just bring 'em on.
I would say the impact on your reputation is probably like the worst part for the
Right.
judge. I mean, because you can relate to the fact that obviously everyone's a human and people make mistakes and stuff. So it's like, should you lose your entire career over one mistake, especially if nobody got hurt, or
Right, yeah.
should you have the chance to rehabilitate yourself?
That's true.
Yeah, and that's why I'm kind of curious in this situation, because clearly, she probably does have some sort of an issue. but she's worked herself all the way into being a judge. It would be a shame that she couldn't prove that she could bounce back from that,
And
you
lose
know,
everything,
and then her attorney said they had mentioned that she was in some sort of treatment. I would hope that that would be positive for her and that they'd be able to reinstate her.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big fan of rehabilitation, giving people a second chance, you know, especially if it's like your first. I mean, somebody who's a recidivist and continually committing violent crimes, that's different, right? But, you know, especially when drugs, alcohol, gambling, something like that's at play, like it's kind of more understandable.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's give the players grades. Let's start with the police.
So as a team, I would probably get, from what I've seen in the video, I would probably give them a B-. I know that the field training officer was kind of like directing the show, and the officer that was mostly in training tried his best. I don't think it was like great execution. So I would give a B- because I'm also assuming that the field training officer gave a little bit of clarity and that we didn't see. So B- as a whole.
I would be around B plus ish.
Okay.
I feel like the training officer did a good job reading from a pre-printed card. I think that's always a good start because if you mess up on the instructions, you're screwing someone over. And then you had the field officer actually correcting him when necessary. So he was there to watch his back, making sure. I think they did a good job. Like she mentioned, I don't know what happened entirely because it was edited. So I think for the most part, I think they did a good job. The only thing I would deduct points for is that she complained of a medical, two actually things, the seizure and bad knees. They don't take that into consideration before performing it. So
Right. Yeah, I think I'm going to be closer to Megan with the B- for the officers. One thing is like we don't know if they did the horizontal gaze nystagmus test, if they even read her the instructions on the walk and turn. I mean, some of that could have been edited. I do think that they had a very nice disposition with her. You know, they were kind of asking about medical issues. They were very calm and patient and stuff like that with her. But yeah, definitely was not like a world-class DUI investigation. By any means, and I did find it very odd that they took her medical conditions into consideration for the walk and turn, but not the one like stand, which I would say is a more physical test. So for that reason, I do a B- as well. What about the judge? Shahina, what do you think?
I feel bad for her, but I would definitely give her a C. Because you are a judge, I would assume that you know some type of law, a little bit of everything. So you shouldn't be performing these tests. He was giving her the hand and be like, hey, you know, do you have seizures? And she'd have to be like, yes, like, I do take medications. Like, I have an issue. Like, I need to go to the hospital. She did do the test. She should have refused all of it, just given her ID, her insurance, or registration, whatever she needed to give, and just ended it right there. No admissions, things like that. So I think it could have gotten way better than it happened.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. C at best, but I'm leaning towards C- just because it was like, if she told me she was, you know, a butcher, maybe it would have made more sense. 'Cause I just feel like she didn't take any sort of criminal law into consideration. The fact that she is so out of it, that she is answering questions she shouldn't answer, submitting to tests she should not be submitting to. She doesn't help her case. However, I will say when I lean towards C, she's not completely irate. We have seen,
that helps,
you know, our previous video, if you haven't watched it.
Grandma Karen.
Yeah, Grandma Karen. We've seen Grandma Karen. We've seen what, you know, somebody who is clearly highly intoxicated and acting irate with the officers and not helping their case at all. We've seen people like that. I lean towards a C sometimes because I do see that she's at least trying to be calm.
Yeah.
She's definitely intoxicated, as we saw in the PBT, but she doesn't act completely insane.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm going to give her a D for that reason. I mean, if she was a butcher, I'd give her a C, right? But like, I'm holding her to a higher standard. We don't know what type of cases she's presiding over or what type of law she practiced before she became a judge, but I agree with Shahina. Like, you know some semblance,
yeah.
right? So I give her a D for the fact that she made admissions. First, she said no, she wasn't drinking. Then she changed it and said she had a few glasses of wine a few hours ago, that she performed any of the field sobriety tests, that she did the PBT, like, come on, you know. But I'm not giving her an F because she, you know, she wasn't rude. She wasn't belligerent. Also, I really don't like the fact that she threw the fact that she was a judge around. She's like, I don't want to use it and I'm just a normal person. Well, you are using it. You're trying to use it because you realize that your back's against the wall now, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't love that either. So for those reasons, I give her a D. All right, there you have it. We just saw a judge being arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. Her blood alcohol content was more than twice the legal limit. We heard the newswoman saying that her sentence was a day in jail, some fines, fees, and costs, and it sounded like she voluntarily went to rehab. So we do hope that she has solved any issues that she might have had with alcohol and that she's hopefully back on the bench.